Do you know what transdisciplinary science is? And, as usual ask about any type of science, do you know what effects it has on society? Transdisciplinary science is something that to many people sounds wonderful, ideal. Scientists doing research in collaboration with people who are not scientists and seeking results on the ground, seeking application, instead of simply trying to learn new things for the sake of it, or simply putting things on paper or in books inside of libraries. And this is an idea that really resonates with the most socially concerned researchers, even though transdisciplinary science can be of all sorts. For example, if the mantra is to simply collaborate with people who are outside of academia, a scientist could also collaborate with corporate actors, and they could even lobby hard to promote their agendas. Corrupt science sort of fits the broader definition of transdisciplinary science. Nonetheless, most often than not, transdisciplinary science carries very critical views of science. It wishes the creation and the rise of a decolonial science, and it has quite an anarchic undertone. Most often, transdisciplinary science is pursued by people who see science as instrumental for the improvement of society. These are not the people who see science as the pursuit of knowledge for the sake of it. This is not the celebration of human curiosity. The cliche case of the transdisciplinary scientist is that of the young person, relatively young, who's emotionally committed to the small community that has been ruptured by the rapid changes in our post-industrial world, the activist, the journalist who joins academia. And in this mentality, two ideas dominate. First, that science has the power to produce the knowledge, to produce the solutions to some of our most pressing societal and ecological problems. And second, that because knowledge comes with power, the great power to actually change reality, then that knowledge should be attained in a way that's democratic and participatory. That participation should include at least those whose communities are going to be changed by the products of scientific research. So, transdisciplinarity wants to solve big problems, but it is also aware of and it tries to constantly confront the white saviorism that has so often been associated and is still often associated with other scientific attempts at doing so. Nice, nice, nice. But these are just ideas. And as any nice sounding ideas, these have actually become very popular. Transdisciplinary science is no longer at the fringes. It is an increasingly accepted model of research. And contrary to what some may think, that is actually not counterintuitive. Other scientists may not like these hippie ideas. Understandably, they may be concerned about generalization, p-values, randomized samples, whatever. But to fund providers, to governments, to policymakers, the idea of scientists doing science, using science to show results on the ground, doing that in collaboration with different people in society, and doing so in a way that can be marketed as democratic, it's participatory, and as what liberal idea not, that sounds very good. It also helps that the typical ideas in transdisciplinary research and in its application are not really political. At least not in the mainstream way, at least not explicitly and proudly. But how can that fit with the anarchic undertone that I mentioned is present here? Well, that's because in transdisciplinary science, most often the thing being criticized are the rigid ideas and the colonial and post-colonial practices of science, of academia. Not so much of the governments who funded it and who guided it and who finally benefited from it. So, transdisciplinary science has become popular. And as you all know, when radical ideas become mainstream, they often get fucked. So, beyond being in love with the woke idea of transdisciplinarity, I think that we should ask, how's it actually being applied? Catch me on the next one to talk about that.